Hi, I'm Maxwell. I'm here with my Samsung TV that I want to fix. About a week ago, we were having a problem with random cut-ons and cut-offs. I want to fix a problem without having to spend $1,000 on a brand new TV. This video will hopefully demonstrate on how and what to look for. Hope you enjoy watching. This is the back of my Samsung TV. You'll find several screws that you'll have to take off. Usually you've got several in the front, several on the back, but be very careful. Don't forget about the screws that could potentially be inside your controls. You've got the 4 screws down here that holds the bottom part on. Don't worry about these. These are your mounting screws that mount into the wall that I've already took off. Okay, I got my cover off of my screen. You may need help get cover off yours as well. Now, here are some of the components that you want to look for. You've got the 2 LCD panels on both sides. You've got the tuner and the speaker card on this side, and this is your power supply card. Power supply cards are very common to cause failure. Usually they get hit with power surges, low voltage, any kind of power surge. They take the most abuse, and are usually the cause of problem. Now, to remove this is fairly simple. You've got these little connectors on each side. You just simply pop them up. And don't worry about mixing them because no one connector can fit into the other. And plus, they can only reach that slide. Then you also have 6 screws to take those off. And then I'll get a closer view of what the potentially could be after this. We had a problem with this board last year. I had to replace 2 of the capacitors that you see here. Now right next to it is another capacitor right here that I could see that has internally gone bad. I'll be changing that one capacitor out. This capacitor right here, I'll be changing out just shortly. I went ahead and ordered the part, and I'll be arriving it soon. Now, the part you order, make sure you look at a couple of different things. The voltage rating and the microfarad rating. That's very important. Otherwise, you don't want to get a capacitor that's this size that you really need to be this size. Otherwise, you'll make it 10 times more difficult to solder into the board. So make sure it's in the range of this capacitor. Okay, here's the board again. I moved it into the kitchen to get a better viewing angle. Now, to tell if a capacitor has gone bad, and we'll take a picture of a better close-up, lots of these capacitors have got aluminum tops, and what that's for is to expand if something ever happens, so the capacitor won't fully explode. The aluminum top is an expandable metal that will just simply bend up to show that it's gone bad or faulty. You can tell that these are flat on top, but this one right here has got like a little bow to it, and I'll take a picture of it to get a better close-up view of it. Now, to start desoldering. Desoldering this is not an easy task. I suggest if you don't know what you're doing, get somebody who can. Because you got to remove the solder from the component without touching the other components next to it or touching the other metal traces on the board. And you just simply got to work it and just suck out all the old solder. It's a time-consuming and frustrating task. But with a little patience, it can be done. There we go. And that's how you get the old capacitor out. Okay, I got the component out. It was bad because you could see on the other side that it is also puffed out. Like this, the new component, and how it's nice and neat
and level on top, and I'll take pictures and post that. But also you can easily clearly see on the bottom of it how it too is also puffed out. That just tells me the component inside has just gone bad. Now, when you pull them out, make sure which one's positive and which one's negative. Like on this capacitor, the striped side is the negative side. You got to make sure it goes back exactly how it was on the board, otherwise it could turn into a disaster and you would have to buy a brand new TV. But like the new one also has a striped side. So it goes in the exact same way through the same two holes. Now I've got the capacitor through on the back side. Now what I do is to hold it in place while you solder is bend the legs down. So that way you can easily solder the connection without having to hold the component in the same time. There we go. And then for the solder. Like I said, this is not an easy task. You may need some help, or just you can go online to do this, to learn how to do better soldering. Now my skills at soldering are a little rusty since I ain't done it since last year, and that was only for a couple of minutes. So here goes. And the leftover legs, you just take some side cutters or some snips and snip it out. This one was kind of ugly, so I'm kind of correcting it. These are not side cutters. I suggest you use side cutters, but mine are misplaced somewhere. So I'm just cutting off the excess metal from the capacitor. And final inspection, make sure none of the solder is touching the other components, touching the other traces. So I'm looking like I'm in pretty good shape. And here we go, putting the screws back into place. Put all the connectors back where they go. And again, no connectors are the same. There you go. Put the cover back on, put it back on the wall, and hope to God it works. Put all the screws back into place. Hey, I'm back. We got the TV back on the cabinet. As you can tell, the TV is working fine. I'm quite happy with a little bit of patience and a little bit of time and a whole lot of skill. This TV will work another year, 2 years. I looked it up online, and turns out I bought the TV about 9 years ago. So yeah, it's probably on its last leg, but at least I can wait another couple more months, if not a year, before something else happens. Thanks for watching.